If you live with MS like me, you'll know that fatigue isn't just feeling sleepy. It's that bone-deep, crushing exhaustion that can derail your day before it's even started. It sucks. It really sucks. Now, here in the UK, the NICE guidelines, NG220 for MS, actually includes Modafinil as a possible treatment for MS-related fatigue. That's official. I get it prescribed. It's something you can and should ask your MS team about. Really, it's there. Why can't you have it? But let me tell you something from my own experience. Yes, Modafinil helped with the physical fatigue to a certain extent. I could get through the day without needing an afternoon collapse, mostly. But what really caught me off guard was how it cleared my head, the cog fog we all talk about. It was like somebody had gone into my brain and gently wiped the condensation off the inside of the window, and suddenly I could think. It was amazing. I could think more clearly. Words came faster. Decisions felt sharper. It wasn't euphoria. I wasn't high. It was just clarity. Now, that effect isn't unique to people with MS, turns out. There's a whole parallel world out there of people without MS who take Modafinil or similar compounds to try and get a mental edge. We're trying to get back up. They're trying to get an edge. Tech workers, students, I went to university late in life, they loved it. Traders, entrepreneurs, the so-called nootropics crowd. They talk about the same thing though. Focus, productivity, flow. And from what I'm told, especially from the students, I was the old man, let's say it's not particularly hard to obtain. A quick search online and you'll find dozens of pharmacies promising discreet delivery and, I love this, study aids. Yeah, they call them study aids. Obviously, I'm not recommending that. I'm not a doctor, but it's out there. And that's part of a bigger conversation about where therapy ends and enhancement begins. Clinically, Modafinil, is a wakefulness promoting agent. That's what it's called, yeah? It's not an amphetamine, though. Like I said, I don't buzz, and it doesn't cause the same sort of buzz or crash that amphetamines can. It works by subtly changing how neurotransmitters like dopamine and orexin signal the brain's alertness centers. For people with MS, for us, it can help bypass that overwhelming fatigue that's just so hard to explain to others. I would say it's like a big wet blanket, a hot one that's just been draped on my head. But, and it's a big but, it doesn't work for everyone. Friends have tried it. Some people find it too stimulating. Others notice headaches, insomnia, or a kind of nervous energy, or an increased heart rate. It can also, potentially, interfere with hormonal contraception, which is an important point that many people miss. So if you're a lady and you're taking that, I'd check it out. But what's fascinating, though, is how a drug designed for fatigue might actually reveal something about cognition itself. They're not 100% sure how it works, but they know it does. Because for me, it didn't make me feel superhuman. It made me feel normal again. I could access my brain. It gave me back the version of myself I'd quietly started to lose. The one who could plan, focus, and think clearly, and read things and hold things in their head. And it was a real shock, actually, when I first took it. And maybe that's why Modafinil sits in this strange space. For someone with MS, it's therapy. For a healthy person, it's enhancement. The chemistry is the same, but the context is what changes. So if you live with MS and you're struggling with fatigue or brain fog, have a look at the NICE guidelines, this is in the UK, NG220, and talk to your MS team. Ask them about Modafinil. There's another one called amantadine, which I've never tried. It's not a magic bullet, but it might be the key that unlocks a bit more of you. And who doesn't want that? And if you've used it in any context, I'd love to hear your experience in the comments. Also for other people, think about that. Did it help? Did it feel different from caffeine or other stimulants? And let's talk about what clarity really means. I'm Dominic from the MS Guide. exploring life, science, and sanity with MS. If you found this useful, please help. Hit like, share it with someone who's curious about brain fog, and subscribe, follow, whatever, for more science with a human touch videos. So see you next time. Cheers. Bye.